this is Suzanne of Winterwear Designs, and today I'm going to show you a quick video for how to do a placket. This technique can work with any placket you do, but I am specifically demonstrating with the sleeve placket on the jean jacket. So for the purposes of this video, this pink sparkly fabric represents our sleeve, and this polka dot fabric represents our placket. They both have a definitive right and wrong side, which will make it easier to see things as we go along. Now, this is our sleeve. So I have already marked it in half with the creased fold line, and then the halfway marking between the center of the sleeve and the back side seam. So that is my marking here. This is the mark that will align with the center of the placket. So I have my placket also marked. Here is our center marking for the placket, and that will align with the marking here on the sleeve. So on the placket, for the sake of this tutorial, we have different gauges for how far up you are going to sew. There are different amounts that you will sew up based on the size, and that can be found in the instructions. For the sake of this tutorial, I will be using the smallest size, which is 2 inches. So I will measure up from the bottom, and I will measure up 2 inches. 1, 2, and I have already marked here to show where I will stop stitching. Once we have marked both of our pieces, we are going to lay them right sides together, matching up those center markings. And then you are ready to go over to the sewing machine and sew. So we are going to sew 1/4 inch from our center marking line on our placket all the way to the end marking that we measured up. We are then going to sew across and back down the other side. One-handed sewing is so much fun. When you're coming down to the corner, plant your needle, pivot your fabric, sew across. Plant your needle, pivot, and sew back down. And there you go. You have sewn your rectangle. We will now be cutting open inside of this sewing line. Okay, now that we have sewn our box, we are going to cut our Y in the center of our box. So you're cutting a long cut down the middle to 1/4 inch shy of the bottom, and then you are angling out to each corner. You want to make sure that you cut all the way to the stitching line, but not through it. And you will end up with a nice Y cut. This is going to allow your fabric to turn. Also, trim the bottom. You're going to cut straight down from the edge of your stitching line to the edge of the fabric on each side so that you have a bottom flap. This, once again, is going to allow us to turn all the pieces we need to create a functioning placket. Once you have completed these 2 steps, head over to your ironing board. At your ironing board, you are going to press your raw side edges in 1/4 inch. You will do that on each side. You will then mark along the bottom of your stitching box across the entire bottom and trim off the outer corner square. This will reduce bulk inside your placket and allow everything to lay much better. So you will remove it from this side and then remove the same box from this side over here. Once you have trimmed off both of your corners, you are ready to start creating your placket. You're going to fold up the bottom and your bottom center towards the wrong side of your placket. Fold your side seam on top of these bottom pieces to keep everything nice and neat. Press this well before continuing. With your bottom and side pressed in well, press your placket away from your sleeve so that you have a nice crisp line right here. We are now going to flip to the wrong side of the fabric. From the wrong side, you are now going to fold your placket over the bottom flap, which is right here, until it matches the seam line that you sewed originally. Press this well and pin in place before we sew. We are now going to sew 1/8 of an inch from our seam, from the top of the placket to the bottom of the placket, and then across the bottom. So you can see we have our stitching along the side and along the bottom. So this is from the right side, and then again from the wrong side, we have our stitching along the side and along the bottom. It is now time to do the second side of our placket. So we're going to repeat the same steps. Press up your bottom, press away from your sleeve, and then flip to the inside, fold it around, and match it to the original stitching line. Make sure to press as you do each of these steps before stitching to make sure you have a perfect placket. We have now stitched up our second side of our placket. You can see the stitching line here. So we have the right side of our placket and the left side of our placket. You're going to want to make sure to pull the right side on top of the left. Press this well so that they are overlapping, and sew a box at the bottom. Now your placket is complete. Repeat for your second sleeve.